Hello, everybody. How's everyone doing? We are here to discuss a case today, one that I have known of for a very long time. Probably the first case that I ever knew about without knowing that it was a case. I just knew it as a documentary. And hello, Wheelby. I knew this case as not even a case, but as a documentary. I was quite shocked when my mom even let me watch documentaries like this, because she was very strict and I couldn't even watch a rated R movie. But for some reason, I did get to watch a couple of movies. I did get to watch Carrie. I did get to watch The Silence of the Lambs. And she let me watch this documentary on Brandon Teena. So, and I just remember before I even, knew anything about the LGBT community or anything like that, I, was aware of this documentary, and I knew that, people in the LGBT community got criticized, chastised, targeted from a very young age. And I knew then that I didn't like it. I didn't understand everything, but I just knew that I didn't like it then, and I definitely don't like it now. I don't know if anyone wants to get on panel with me and discuss this. I can just kind of start with some basic things about this, about Brandon himself. And I will be referring to him as Brandon because he was a transgender male. And that's what he wanted in life. There's been some controversy on his mother did not accept him as a trans man. She actually got very upset about people referring to him as Brandon because she will always consider Teena her daughter. So Brandon was born December 12th, 1972, to Joanne Brandon. Apparently his father died in a car accident, pretty much right before, right after she got pregnant with him. So he had an older sister, Tammy, that lived with Joanne's mom in Lincoln. And this is a Nebraska case, so very close to home. They lived in Lincoln. They lived in Falls City, I believe. And everything ended up in Humboldt. Brandon went to high school at Lincoln Pius X in Lincoln. His mom was briefly married again from 1975 to 1980. Yeah, so I'm trying to think of. I believe he started dating Lana Tisdale in 1993, and he had a girlfriend named Heather in 1991. Apparently, he was expelled from high school 3 days before graduation. And that is when he started his relationship with Heather. Yes, Wheelby. Absolutely. Wheelby says the story this story was kind of ahead of its time as it relates to transgender persons. Maybe yes, I absolutely agree. Yeah, because I mean, I know I was just a kid then, and Brandon was, 12 years older than I am. So, but yeah, like I know even back when I was a kid, like we didn't talk. Like I know I also grew up in a very small reserved community, but we still didn't hear about it. Like yeah, didn't even hear about it. Wasn't as much of a thing. It's always been a thing, but we just didn't have the people just were not disclosing it because of the times. And times have changed, thankfully. However, we've still got some ways to go. But uh and that is totally, I mean, no, that's totally okay. We'll be like, at least you want to be like, you know I know that the trans community gets, you know people might ask some questions, but they just don't know how to ask them. But at least they want to know, and at least they want to be educated. Like if they want to be educated, that's one thing. But if they don't want to be, and it's coming from a place of malice, then that's not okay. But yes, I say we as if I'm not part of the LGBT community ish, but I am because like all of my friends are. And Avery says it's a confusing subject for me, but no one deserves to die for their preference. No, absolutely not. You are correct. And when I look at even me being, I'll just say this, even me being friends with and an ally that I am, I know the I don't know the greatest um I don't know the greatest level of being ridiculed for it, but I do know to some degree because my family and people back I want to say back home, but like I'm just saying people. And now there's exceptions to every rule, so I'm not saying this as everybody. I'm not grouping everybody, but there are a lot of people in rural areas don't want to think outside the box. They would, I don't know. I mean, that's the way it comes off to me anyway. Avery, if you want to join me, you can. Anybody that would like to join me? Oh my gosh. Guys, I'm so sorry. I'm not watching my. Ooh. Oh, I am watching my chat without knowing I'm watching my chat. um, I know, Wilby. I'll give you a time. I'll give you time. Um, but like if you want to educate yourself, the door's always open. If you don't, you can just remain closed. That's fine. It's not that that's also your choice and you have to live with it. So it's fine. Um, oh, I need to drop my link, don't I? Oh my gosh, wow. Um, One moment, guys. Let me get my link quick. I just muted myself though. Let me. One moment, guys. Okay, yeah, I'm still here. I just want to drop my link, but I don't know. Does anyone know how to... Can anyone get my link for me and drop it? Oh, hold on. Never mind, guys. Got it. I am dropping. One moment. There we go, guys. I think I got it. If you guys want to come up now. If you can.
Hello, can you hear me good?
Yes, we'll be. How are you?
Doing good.
Hello.
Yeah,
Hey, I'm going to mute just for 1 second while I finish getting this dinner out of the oven. I'll be
yeah.
right back.
You need to get my
Okay,
plate ready.
you're fine.
Uh, yeah. One thing I wanted to ask you. I'm not a homophobic person.
Right.
I'm a very tolerant person. I mean, and that sounds disrespectful. It's like I tolerate someone, but I'm like live and let live. But
That's
there's
great.
so much anger among some of these transgender as they get into their political that they're just angry. And I mean, you can't engage people and win minds if you're that angry, it seems to me, JC. And I don't want to be disrespectful at all. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And
Um,
that's kind of where I get, I don't know, I get lost there. I
I'll
don't
just...
want to engage because I don't want to get the damn screaming, cussing,
No,
hating
no.
match with nobody.
I mean, I will say this. There's extremists on every... You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
there are... Yeah, there's extremists on every end. However, I will say that the trans community, and I will also put in, like, the bisexual community is also very, like, not... The bisexual community is just not completely understood, because it's not talked about a lot, and they get, they're less understood than... I mean, I guess the gay community is the most understood of everybody, I
Yeah, well,
think.
they kind of broke barriers and
Yeah,
brought it out in the open.
there's
A
a lot...
long time ago. That's why I was saying about the I can't even think of the person you had on today's Brendan.
Brandon,
Yeah, that he was like way ahead of his time in as far as the transgender thing. I mean,
as far as that goes,
yeah,
yes, and
but
also, like, not like, and also not necessarily just that, but like, considering his demographic,
yeah.
like, small town Nebraska,
Oh
like,
yeah, where the general attitudes are
yeah,
behind quite a
behind him.
bit from any of the more populated areas who have a lot of more forward thinking people, but they also still have the bigoted people. But
Yes.
out where he lived, I don't imagine it was. I don't think there were probably you could probably count on your hands the people that weren't homophobic.
Right.
Hey, I'm back. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Can you refresh me on this case? Because I did watch the Lifetime movie, but it's
Mhm.
been a while,
Yeah.
and I can't quite remember. Was it that he was seeing somebody? He had, okay. Let's see if I remember this right. He wasn't fully transgendered into a woman, but he was seeing a man, and the man found out.
No.
No, okay.
No.
Okay, could you refresh me? Because
He,
I can't.
so he lived in Lincoln, went to Pius X High School, got um what do I want to say, expelled, or basically
Yeah, right at graduation too,
got
wasn't
expelled 3 days before graduation. And then that was in June of 1991. And then they said in mid 1991, which is pretty much around the same time, he began his first major relationship with Heather. Shortly after, Brandon was first employed as a gas station attendant in an attempt to purchase a trailer home for himself and his girlfriend. His mother disapproved of the relationship and convinced her daughter Tammy, who is Brandon's older sister, to follow him to determine whether his relationship with Heather was platonic or sexual. In 1992, he underwent a psychiatric evaluation, which concluded that he had a severe sexual identity crisis. He was later taken to the Lancaster County Crisis Center to ensure that he was not to unalive himself. He was released from the center 3 days later and began attending therapy sessions, sometimes accompanied by his mother and sister. He was reluctant to discuss his sexuality during these sessions, but revealed that he had been assaulted in that way. And the counseling sessions ended 2 weeks later. So he had some legal trouble in 1993, moved to Falls City, where he presented himself as a male. Became friends with several residents. He moved in with Lisa Lambert and began dating her friend Lana Tisdale.
Wait, hold on. So he was born a boy, right?
No, he was no
Okay, gotcha. Okay,
born female.
gotcha.
So then
Okay.
he began associating with John Lauder and Tom Nissen. And he was in December 1993 was arrested for forging checks. He so because he was in the female section of the jail, Lana learned that he was transgender.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. I remember it now that you say it, but
Mhm. And then she later questioned him about his gender, and he told her that he was hermaphrodite, pursuing a sex change.
I've got a story here
And,
later. I want to tell you guys about
and,
something about that.
Wait,
and
I have a question because
then,
I really just I don't know. Um, does transgender mean that they've already had the change, the operation,
no,
or does
It's
it, or is that what is that called? That's called something else, right?
no. Okay.
Okay.
Um,
I'm sorry. I actually don't really know anybody in person
I know.
who's
yeah,
ever
I'm
gone through
the same
this,
way.
so
I'm the same way, Avery. I played
So let
not a
me.
lot of ignorance, but quite a bit.
yeah.
Okay. Let me just kind of explain. So when someone identifies as transgender, having the surgeries is not everyone's.
Yeah, it's not priority number one.
Yeah, it's having the surgeries is not everyone's journey. Like, some people don't feel like they have to have a surgery. Some people, it's different for everybody. Most that I know, but they're not trans, they're non-binary.
Define non-binary. This idiot you have
They
on
don't.
panel.
So if you identify as non-binary, then you identify as both or neither. Neither. But basically, you don't identify
You're
as either male
you
or
just leave it kind of big. I don't want to say the wrong word, ambiguous or
it's
something.
called androgynous.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so now explain to me then, what is transsexual? Is there a difference?
Transgender doesn't really mean it doesn't. From what I don't know. Again, I might say
I
something
think the
stupid.
terms are intertwinable.
Yeah,
Okay.
but it's
Okay.
not always about sex for some people. Correct.
It's not about
It's more just of identifying as.
it's a basically, if you are transgender, it's due to your gender dysphoria.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense. I got it now.
JC, I had a uncle, my mom's brother, who
Mhm.
divorced, and she married a woman named Jewel, and Jewel had a son named I can't even remember his name now, but he lived. This is back. He died like in maybe the early '80s, but he lived in San Francisco,
Mhm.
and he was. Back then, he's just really weird, man. He dresses like a woman. He's and Jewel finally told everybody. She said, if y'all knew how he was born, you would understand. He was an hermaphrodite, and at that time, in that San Francisco was the place you could go and have a community of people like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm? And I don't want to say nothing
Are
disrespectful,
you saying that he was
but
born sex?
he was born with a hermaphrodite. Both, it's
Yeah,
ambiguous genitalia.
intersex.
Yeah, intersex. So a lot of people think they're freaks, but I'm sure there's some identity uh,
Issues.
issues and all kind. But anyway, Denny was his name. I couldn't remember, but he lived in San Francisco and had a bunch of friends. That's where he had to go to get in a comfortable.
To be accepted.
Yeah, and he ended up dying of AIDS. But he was a nice guy, and every time he come home for Christmas, but nobody ever understood him. Nobody was ever ugly to him or anything in the family. But his mother Jewel, and my uncle Ralph. Ralph told my mom one time if you knew the things Denny had to go through,
Oh yeah.
you would understand. And that was kind of my up close experience. And
I have a couple friend. Well, at least one friend I know of that is that I believe is intersex. And it causes, if you watch the documentary, what is it called? I'd have to look it up, guys. And I just watched it not very long ago. Let me see if I can look it up and give you the name of it. And if you guys watch, I'm just saying, if you want to educate yourself on being intersex, and intersex is something that is not talked about a lot in the LGBT community either. I mean, but I watched this documentary, and it came out not very long ago.
do you know what you saw
Literally,
it on Amazon, Netflix, or
yeah, it's literally called Everybody.
okay?
It's a documentary on intersex lives.
Yeah.
And if you watch that, you will get a greater understanding of it. I watched it. Back in the day, they mentioned back in the day, doctors said that if an intersex baby was born, that you better make a decision on what you want it to be.
Exactly.
And if they, and just basically they wanted to hide the fact that you were intersex because for the safety of the kid.
That's what my Uncle Ralph used to say about Denny, that he,
Yeah. Like, so a lot of even doctors were like, you need to hide this. You need to hide this. And
it's still hidden.
It's still hidden.
I'm sure there are people there's more people born like this than we probably imagine.
Oh, absolutely.
And we just don't know.
Because they are so suppressed, I think, on talking about it that they're afraid.
You know what I've always wanted to know? I feel like so I am a Christian, and I do believe that there's some a bigger power.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to things like this, I often wonder.
Hey,
I don't know.
guys, can I interrupt you for a second? I just got a direct message. The Richard Allen's whole defense team withdrew from the case today. Is what, as soon as they came in the courtroom, is what somebody just direct messaged me.
The Delphi.
Yeah, let me read it again because I want to be clear. The defense comes out of absolutely nowhere, alleging that all of this shit happened, and then that very same defense team comes in court today, right before his hearing is about to start, and withdrew from the entire case. I'm still trying to process what just occurred. And this came from Delana, who's on Tia, and she's a model on a lot of channels. I'm sure you guys probably know her.
Holy moly.
That's a bombshell right there.
Yeah, it is.
Holy
and I don't mean to, I'm not trying to hijack anything because I'm enjoying this conversation. But anyway, I just thought you guys might want to know that.
Breaking news.
Yeah.
Wow.
So what were you saying, Avery? Let's get back on.
Oh yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to word this, like, without coming off,
I know.
like yeah, I don't want to come off. I don't want to anger anybody.
Yeah, that's the same way I feel, but we just got to ask and educate ourselves. So let's get at it.
Girl,
yeah. So there's time. Okay, like there's times like with my son and his medical condition that I get angry, with God. Like, and then there's
why
even
are you doing this to me? I can understand it.
Yeah. And then there's times when I've even thought to myself, well, there can't possibly be a God, because if there was, why would he put children
like this?
Yeah. So when it comes to people who are born with the sexual identity crisis, it makes me wonder what. Okay, if this is where I say, like, I get mad with God, because why would he create people and then he knows that they have to live through this hell, that goes on in their head, and then hell with their families or other people. And so I want to know scientifically, what is the scientific part that creates this? What, like my son, I can scientifically, I can rationalize that.
I think,
with people who are born in the wrong body,
they're just born that way.
with people who are, but what is it scientifically that made them that way? Is it just
that is the
across your sexual preference, your hardwire in your brain into what you're attracted to? You don't grow up wanting to be that way.
But it has to.
You just are that way, I think. Am I wrong,
Casey? But it has to come before, like, well, I mean, because I've seen little 2-year-olds who, they already know that they're not a boy, that they're supposed to be a girl.
Yeah,
Like I've seen it
I'm
in
gonna
little
disagree
kids.
with you there, and I'm gonna do this. Kids, they want to be Superman, they want to be Casper the Ghost, they want to be Batman, they want to be Cinderella. You got to let kids grow up, and they're going to be what they get going to be. And I don't agree with trying to shape or direct towards anything, towards heterosexual, homosexual, transgender. Let them be kids. That's not when you
Yeah.
decide these issues.
So,
Yeah, I get that, but I want to know, like, I want to know scientifically, medically, what is going on inside their body when they were
mhm,
born to make them, have to go through
I
this.
don't know that we'll ever know that.
yeah, it's just if we ever
So,
find out that, then we'll have the
yeah.
world's
Yeah, some
problem.
people are tall, some people are short. Some people like fat women, some people like skinny women. Some people like blonde, some people like brunettes. Some women like,
Yeah,
this kind of guy and that kind of guy. And when you go behind closed doors, everybody likes something a little different.
but these are the kinds of things that make me angry with our creator or make me question, like, and I don't want to do that, like, and
Right.
so I just try to accept everything and just, go on about, my business. But really deep down, I want to know why, why people have
Why?
to
Well,
live certain health.
well, it's because I mean, first off, it's it's
I know
not
that's deep.
it, it it's because of half of it's because of society,
Yeah, humans
you
are very, uh,
know, and welcoming, and
they're very,
then
they're
be
not, we're not, we don't get along. We fight wars and we repeat things
yeah,
over and over. We don't,
True.
it's the way we are. We're very flawed.
yeah.
Very, very flawed.
It's just the nature of, it's just the way humans are.
Um, but yeah, I guess I don't know the answer to that, but when we do find the answer, I guess the world's problems will be solved.
The way I look at that, Avery,
Yeah.
is life is like a play. You have the first scene, and
Mhm.
they come in on one side of the stage, and you get your son. You
Mhm.
love him. You love him instantly. You'll fight. You'll do anything. You'll lay your life down for him. You
Right.
don't get to choose when he goes out of the right side of the stage, and it's over. But
Right.
but whatever you get with him, and as much as you love him, you'll take it. It's just,
Absolutely.
you know what I'm saying. So
Oh yeah.
you get thankful for your when you lose them. You're thankful that you had them. Yeah, I'd like to have them for longer and more and better. But
Mhm.
I wouldn't trade not 1 minute with another person to not have had him. And
Right.
that's the connection you got to think about. If you don't get him,
Right.
but for whatever amount of years, and you don't know how long you're going to have, he might outlive you. Would you rather
That's
have a
true.
different son that was quote unquote perfect and all these good things
Oh,
and have
no
him
way.
longer, or you just take what you get with the one you got?
Yeah, you know what? I would absolutely do it all over again. And
Exactly. So
even if he was born, and felt that he was in the wrong body, he was born transgender, I'd take that too.
yeah,
Yeah, there
you
there
love
would
them
be,
unconditionally.
yeah,
And like I say, when they go out stage right, we don't get to pick that. There's a lot of things that go into it, but
And
when they do, you're thankful. Hey, I didn't have them but this long, but I wish I had them longer. But hey, I wouldn't have took somebody perfect and twice as long
yeah,
in a,
yeah.
in a minute. Wouldn't do it.
you know,
But I do really feel like it really hurts me when I hear these stories, like the case that JC's talking about, and I see the stories, I see them on TV, I see the documentaries, and
Yeah.
it just really, really hurts me because
Well,
I
we were
just,
just one generation ago that the gay community lived in the closet, and they lived a hell of an existence.
yeah,
They weren't able to come out and live like they are now.
right,
It was awful, and it's gotten better. It's got ways to go, but
Yeah.
time changes things, and
young people are the future, and there has been all of this is happening because of resilient young people
Oh,
who want
yeah.
I and when I say young people, I mean younger than, I'm not young. I'm
teenagers
teenagers, and yeah,
in
can
early 20s, people that are the next generation.
stand up for, their rights as a human,
Tolerance and acceptance. Let people be how they are. And
their rights as their basic human rights.
that's right.
Exactly. That's why I said in the comment, I sleep around my own doorstep, and if more people could do the same, oh, it would be
And
stuff
wouldn't
a
it be,
much better. Huh?
in Avery, like I'm a Christian too, and if you I don't know if you've heard of the Gay Christian Network, which is now called Q Christian Fellowship, but I will just do a little plug here for Q Christian
Oh,
Fellowship.
no, I've never heard of
I've
that.
got a story. Finish yours. I got a heck of a story. You
Yeah, so this guy named um, Justin Lee was the founder of the Gay Christian Network. He is no longer, but he has his own other nonprofit now called Geeky Justin or something like that. But this guy named Isaac Archuleta took over as basically CEO of the Gay Christian Network, which is now Q Christian Fellowship. And they have a conference every year. Um, you know, and Justin also has this book called Talking Across the Divide. And it's not just about the gay versus the Christian. You know what I mean? Like it's not just about that, but it's talking about how to talk to people in general about conflict, like
know,
how to go about it.
uh,
And it's
Yeah, that
my
sounds interesting.
my brother-in-law, my sister's husband, is his name is Dr. Ken Carter. He is a bishop in the Methodist Church.
mhm,
He is in the top 6 to 8 people in the entire denomination.
mhm,
You can Google it. If you know anything about the Methodists, they're going through where they're splitting over the inclusion of the gay community and in the church.
and the
Now,
Catholic
yeah,
going.
in the Methodist Church. Now, my brother-in-law Ken has pushed. He pushed. It started several years ago, and he pushed for inclusion. And he said everybody deserves God's grace, and we should welcome them into our churches. And you know, that's what Jesus is about. He's inclusive for everybody. And
Mhm.
they've had right now they're going through where churches are voting to pull out of the uh, I can't think what they call them, but and the media reports on it every day.
Mhm.
But the church, my sister told me the other day, she said the churches that are voting to pull out because of the progressive people like Ken wanting to be more inclusive, she said they're the churches that don't bring any money into the Methodist umbrella, as far as the money they're able to spend on to help people around the world and all that. She said they're the ones that literally owe money. You know what I'm saying? It's the smaller churches out in, rural things, but they're losing a lot of churches. And on paper, it looks like, half the bunches skipped town over this issue, but it's not really like that. But Ken worked hard in the last 3 or 4 years. I mean, he flies all over the country, all over the world, and he wrote up the doctrine that he wanted, and it was for inclusiveness. And some of the people don't see it that way, though.
And I will say I grew up a Catholic, and I will say I think that I seen in the news a few weeks ago, or maybe a couple to a few weeks ago, that the Catholics were kind of meeting about being more inclusive. And I do know that this Pope has been very progressive. As
Yeah,
far
I've seen something about that too.
Yeah,
Tracy.
I mean, first off, you know, a few years ago. It's probably been quite a few years ago now, but I think I remember he was asked about what he thinks about, you know, the LGBT community, and he just said like that he's not the judge. Like, you know, so in that, to have a pope saying that, coming out and saying that, is quite
Yeah.
quite progressive compared to what we have seen in the past.
Yeah, it's
Absolutely. And he's
uh
right. He's
And
right. None of us are
more
to judge.
the more people understand and educate themselves on the situation, the better off we are going to be as a society.
I think that if I had more people in my area that were transgender, then I probably would know a lot more about it.
Oh,
But
absolutely.
I don't think there's a whole lot in my
No,
area.
no, there's probably not. I mean, that's like I wasn't even privy to the LGBT community until basically I moved here. Um,
Yeah.
you
I
know,
mean, here in
even,
Alabama, we just now got to the point where it's accepted for blacks and whites to be together. So
yeah.
I
I
don't.
just put
yeah.
Ken's a link to
Ooh.
a thing on Google about him, my brother-in-law.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay, cool.
And
Yeah.
Thank
he's
you.
got his doctorate from Yale, and he's wrote like 14 books. But he's been, you know, in the Methodist denomination for a long, long time. But he's one of the 6 to 12 top grand poobahs. But it's divided that church in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
JC, you have another viewer. I don't know if you're. I know you're new, so you're probably not watching chat. But Emily joined.
Yes. Yes. How is Emily doing?
Hello, Emily.
I think.
It took
Oh,
it took me a minute to look over at chat to see too. I was like, oh dang it, I'm not even watching. One of us has to watch it.
yeah. I think my hold on here. Let me refresh my.
Will be. I cannot quit eating this crack candy. Oh my
I
goodness.
heard
It
you.
looks
I
so
saw the
good,
recipe, and I was
Emily.
thinking about that. I wouldn't do the Heath bar, but I can think of some other candy bars I put in there, and it would be off the chain.
Man, it's in the refrigerator,
There
and
we go.
I just keep going and
It's
getting
like
another
it's
little
like
piece.
sugar heroin.
Oh man.
1 minute, guys. Let me mute for a second.
Okay.
All right, Avery and I'll take over.
Yeah,
How's
will
your
be
son
that.
doing, Avery?
Well, it's not so good. And I hadn't really been too public with it because there's a certain person who's been really invasive.
Yeah,
Um,
well, don't concentrate on that. That's just a waste of time.
yeah. Um,
Don't talk about it, and don't. You know what I'm saying? It's just not.
yeah. But what I will do is I'll send you a message on Discord,
Yeah,
telling you.
I was thinking if when he gets a little stronger and maybe gets some of his health back, get him out on a golf course. You never know, he
Oh
might
yeah.
like it.
Yeah, definitely.
He'd be out in fresh air, he'd be walking, and he might take a liking to it and
Hmm.
surprise you.
Yeah. He does love the outdoors. In fact, a few years ago, he had about 2 years where he was not sick. He was doing real good, and he he was doing karate. He had signed up for karate,
Yeah,
and he had gotten his fourth stripe on his belt, and
yeah.
he was doing all kinds of outdoor stuff. And
Find
then,
what else his passion is, and you might have to introduce him to a bunch of different
yeah,
things, but he'll lock on to something.
yeah,
And he'll be asking every day, "Mom, I want to do this. Your mom, I really want to." And when they do, that gets them directed in towards something positive.
oh yeah, definitely, definitely. Yeah, I have lots of plans for him, and and I know he has lots of plans. So we're just taking
One
it
day at
one
a
day at a
time.
time.
One day at a
Yeah,
time.
but I will send you a message and let you know what's going on.
Uh, my boys. I can't even. I don't even. I don't like talking about a lot because it sounds like I'm bragging. But two of my boys are the most intelligent creatures that are just about on Earth.
Oh, really?
They both scored. The oldest and youngest scored 1,600 on SAT in the ninth grade.
Oh, wow.
They both
Okay,
went to
guys, I'm
School of
back.
Math
Sorry.
and Science, which is the most gifted students in the state of North Carolina. It's like 6
Yeah.
to 10 people per county. They both got accepted and went there. The oldest got his
Wow.
doctorate in mathematics and teaches out in L.A. And the youngest quit. He when he got out of high school, he went to college and he said, "They can't teach me nothing." He said, "I know more than the professors do." And he's got out on his own. He's running restaurants now, but
Yeah.
they
Well,
were just, I can't explain it.
And she wants to join us, she definitely can. I'd love to hear what she has to say.
my two older daughters will be one of them. She's a school teacher and she just got her master's and now
Yeah.
she's going for her doctorate in higher education.
My oldest teaches at a magnet school in Los Angeles that this real
Mhm.
wealthy studio executive for CBS
Yeah.
retired and started, and they teach a arts-based curriculum and kind of a free schedule for the kid. And the school has done so well, and he enjoys it so much, Avery,
Mhm.
because the kids aren't like just from the rich Beverly Hills families. They have some of those.
Yeah.
They have a lot of kids, and every kid in the graduating class last year got a scholarship to a college. All of them did not go, but the kids are really thriving in that kind of curriculum.
I
Yeah.
heard will be.
Excuse me,
That's
Jason.
awesome.
What did you say, Jason?
I heard about that.
The state education system is actually doing a study that they put a lot of money, appropriate money, to do a study of that curriculum because it's been so successful. They want to see what's going on, that these kids are, buying into it and actually enjoy coming to school.
Yeah.
But he loves it there, and he goes to work every day. And he has a ball. It's what he loves doing. He
Oh, and
teaches.
I told Lady V that I would let her know as well.
Let me go to Discord real quick, and I'll see if she's there, and I'll tell her we're here.
I don't. Let me see. I need to get Discord on this too, and I don't have it, so I'm gonna add it.
I'm just gonna throw her a note, and when she comes on, she'll see it.
JC, aren't you in Scarlett's Discord?
Yeah.
I could have sworn I've seen you in there. Okay.
Yep. I am.
Oh, yeah, we've messaged. Oh, my
Yeah.
goodness.
A lot.
I'm a goof.
But yeah, this is like, I don't know. This case is one of the thank you, Emily. I appreciate that. Yeah, this, like I said in the beginning, this is like one of the first cases that I ever even knew about without even knowing that it was a case or what, transgenderism was. And it was when I was very young. So, I'm just glad that my mom let me watch the documentary.
Well, when you said that earlier, I thought, wow, you must have had a real strict religious type upbringing. Is that maybe?
It was strict. I wouldn't say it was super religious, but definitely strict. I mean, my mom was a science teacher. My dad's a, coach.
Really?
Yeah.
That's great.
My dad's coached almost every sport imaginable. High school through, elementary or junior high through high school.
Yeah.
He did help ever since he's been in Riverton, he's helped with golf.
I played golf at Wake Forest and played professionally for a long time. I played golf at Wake Forest and played professional for a long time. I played golf all over the world.
That's awesome. Lady V, hello.
Did she show up?
Yeah. In chat.
I just sent her a note. I don't know if she came across that much.
I forgot to text her. But yeah. So anyway, this, Brandon Teena just really got with the wrong crowd and, ended up, I compare it to Matthew Shepard a lot.
Yeah.
Um,
The one thing I want to say, and this is kind of the way I looked at back then, and I remember this now. And I don't think it was so, the time, it was so ahead of everything, you know what I'm saying, the
mm,
transgender part. But I, I don't think he felt like he could be honest about who he was, or people wouldn't
um,
accept, you know what I'm saying? And had
yeah,
he kept that private, I think
yeah,
made
but
it worse for him when they started going against it.
there
And
was,
I don't mean that bad, you know what I'm saying?
yeah, I know.
And I
Um,
don't think he knew back then, because I feel like you should be honest about that. Somebody
yeah,
shouldn't find out, by surprise that, hey, you are actually, you know what I'm saying? And I
well,
don't think he knew that though back then. I think he felt like he had, or you know what I'm saying? He had to keep it private.
yeah, and this is what it says. Because he had neither commenced hormone replacement therapy nor had gender confirmation surgery, he has sometimes mistakenly been identified as a lesbian by media reporters. Some reported Tina's plans to have a reassignment surgery. So
Yeah,
I think he was on his way to having
yeah,
some sort of something happen.
yeah.
Uh,
That's
uh,
not disrespectful, is it? What I just said.
no. And then I think his mom uh kind of, when the documentary The Boys Don't Cry came out, I think she was a little like upset, and maybe even filed a lawsuit. Um
Yeah. And
uh
she just, I don't think she wanted other people to know, and it was embarrassing to her, probably, what
directed,
her, and
Hilary Swank played Brandon. Um
So what happened to him, JC?
so let's go. Yeah, I was going to get
it's
into
not
act.
good.
It went to a Christmas Eve party with um John and Tom, and they basically forced him to undress and prove to Lana that he was not a boy. Um, so they basically um, forced him into a car, drove to an area by a meat packing plant in Richardson County, which is in, I don't know if it's in Humboldt or Falls City. They assaulted and gang assaulted him. They returned to Tom's home, and they forced him into the shower, and he escaped from the bathroom by climbing out the window and going to Lana's house. Lana convinced him to file a police report, but John and Tom told him to, well, her, to keep her mouth shut or they would permanently shut it for her. He went to the emergency room. A kit was performed, and uh, they kind of questioned him, I think. Then when they learned that a police report had been filed, they began looking for him and didn't find him, and they went to Lisa's house on the at around 1 a.m. and they broke in. They found her and asked if she knew where Brandon was. She said, "No, I don't." They basically searched her house, found him under the blankets, and then um, I think they ended up beating him. Uh, it said they found him under a blanket at the foot of the bed. The men asked Lisa if there was anyone else in the house. She replied that Philip Devine was staying with her, and the duo then shot Brandon in the stomach. Tom testified in court that he noticed that Brandon was twitching, asked John for a knife, and they knifed him in the chest to ensure that he was not alive.
Holy moly.
Yeah. And they
And
also shot,
are,
after
they're in
leaving the
prison?
room and then returning with him, Neeson shot Lisa Lambert a second time. The two men then took Philip into the living room and sat him on the couch and shot him twice.
So they killed everybody in the house?
I don't know if they killed them, but they shot them.
Wow.
The two
Oh my
men
God.
weapons and gloves into a frozen river and returned to Falls City. They were arrested that afternoon, which Tom Neeson told deputies that he had witnessed John Lauder shoot 3 people to death in Humboldt. So this wasn't Humboldt. They went to the river. They retrieved the gloves and weapons, including the bladed object sheath mark.
Lady V's backstage, JC.
Oh yes,
And they unalived all 3 of those people.
yes.
Hi, Lady V.
Hello, Lady V.
Hi guys,
It's
how are
the
you?
lovely, mysterious Lady V.
And then they, the sheath
Can you
had
hear that,
the
JC?
sheath had John's name on it, tying him to the crime.
JC,
Yes.
can you hear the music in the background?
What's that?
You need to get louder.
Can you hear the music in the background? No. Okay.
We can't hear
I'm
your
at
voice
work.
hardly.
Oh, I'll talk louder.
There you go.
There we
I'm at
go.
work.
Yeah. Well, thank you for joining us right now.
My pleasure.
So yeah,
It's
that's
almost
how.
like they were embarrassed that they didn't know this, and if it was like they didn't want nobody to know that they had actually didn't even know that. You know what I'm saying?
So
It seemed to me, I could be wrong.
how old was Brandon when
Brandon?
this happened?
21,
21.
22.
Oh man.
That's so young.
Mm-hmm. Just a bad situation. So, and this is what I was going to talk about too, was there are people to this day that don't think that John did it. So Neeson accused Lauder of committing the unalivings. In exchange for a reduced sentence, Neeson admitted to being an accessory to the assault and killing. So Tom Neeson testified against John Lauder and was sentenced to life in prison.
Yeah, so it all fell on to Lauder.
Yes.
But
Lauder
you think
denied.
Neeson was just equally involved, or he just got a deal because he would?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, that's kind of the way I read it. I didn't realize.
Lauder denied the veracity of Neeson's testimony, and his testimony was discredited. The jury found Lauder guilty of murder and was sentenced to death. Lauder and Neeson both appealed their convictions. In 2007, Neeson recanted his testimony against Lauder.
Yeah.
He claimed that he was the only one to shoot Brandon and that Lauder had not committed the unalivings. In 2009, his appeal, using Neeson's new testimony to assert a claim of innocence, was rejected by the Nebraska Supreme Court, which held that since even under Neeson's revised testimony, both Lauder and Neeson were involved in the murder, and specific identity of the shooter was legally irrelevant. In 2011, a 3-judge panel of the 8th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals rejected Lauder's appeal in a split decision. In October 2011, Lauder's request for rehearing by the panel next petitioned the Supreme Court of the United States for a review of his case. The Supreme Court declined to review his case, denying his petition for a writ of certiorari on March 19, 2012, and a further petition for rehearing on April 23rd, leaving his conviction to stand. On January 22nd, 2018, he was denied a third appeal by the U.S. Supreme Court. So they are not accepting his appeals. It is as stands.
When and he's scheduled for death row.
I don't believe it said anything about death row. It said life.
Oh, okay.
I mean, we're technically the same, but you know.
I could have sworn that you said he got sentenced to death. I guess I'm hearing things. Wouldn't be the first time.
Oh,
How long after it happened was the conviction?
The jury found Lauder guilty of murder and was sentenced to death.
Oh, there, yeah, sentenced to death.
That would mean.
Yeah.
Pull it up.
He had. I don't know where we stand on that, though.
I'll pull it up. Let me look.
They're convicted. I mean, they've been denied all their appeals, so I'm assuming that it all still stands. Neeson is life in prison.
There's a ruling that Supreme Court just did here in March. Let me pull it up.
Yeah, Neeson testified against Lauder and was sentenced to life in prison. Lauder denied Neeson's testimony. The jury found Lauder guilty of murder and was sentenced to death. Yeah. So Neeson's getting life in prison. Lauder's getting sentenced to death.
The Supreme Court declined to take his death penalty appeal in March of this year, potentially putting him a step closer to being executed for the triple unaliving that inspired the movie Boys Don't Cry. Hold on, I'll see how close we're getting to this. It doesn't get in the found where it gets in when they might do the deed, but he's getting ready to meet his maker, sounds like.
So in 1999, when I said, how his mom was kind of upset with, the way that they portrayed the movie, they did settle for $80,000, plus this, $6,000 in sum for the funeral costs, and also an additional $12,000, $5,000 for wrongful death, and $7,000 for the intentional infliction of emotional distress. What his mom was awarded.
JC, according to this, evidently he didn't get convicted. Hold on. James Smith and 20. I guess in about 2000, because it says since the 23 years since he was found guilty of 3 counts of first degree. So it took them to 2000 to convict him.
It took what?
It took, okay, the event happened in 92, correct? Or 93.
93,
it's saying here that it said in the 23 years since he was found guilty, which would mean if he's been in there 23 years, he didn't go in there till 2000, which would mean he was not convicted and incarcerated until then, I guess. Unless I'm reading this wrong.
I'm not.
I mean, I could be reading it wrong, but that's what it says.
Yeah, let me look at it.
And that's just one article. But at least they denied his appeal. You know, he's still there and a step closer to getting his sentence carried out. And that was just in March of this year.
So when was the? Let me go to a different.
Ah, dang, one of these papers where they want you to subscribe and pay them money.
I don't know when. Though he took full responsibility over a decade later.
It's not that important. It just,
Yeah.
you know, something tells me there's something more to it.
It
Because I
didn't.
can't
I don't
imagine
think
they
it.
waited 7 years to
Yeah,
go
I
to
don't think
trial.
yeah, I don't think it happened right away, but you know,
7 years later seems like a long time.
yeah. But at
But
least,
sometimes it goes that way. Sometimes we may get that way with BK, Brian.
yeah, for all we know.
Yeah. When's the last time Nebraska has executed anybody?
I have no idea. I don't know if they honestly. Oh my! Hold on, folks. I
Lady V,
apologize.
she said she was going to jump down and get on my phone.
Oh, okay.
That's what she says here. Both those guys just sound like horrible people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just bigoted,
Was
backwards ass. You know what I'm saying? I
mm-hmm.
you know, living not accepting of anybody.
I don't. Oh, um. One moment. So actually, the last person executed was Carrie Dean Moore in 2018.
It's been 5 years. It's not.
But Aubrey Trail confessed to the 2017 killing of Sidney Loof, was sentenced to death by a 3-judge panel in 2021. However, he ended up passing away in prison.
You know, if somebody like that don't deserve the death penalty, nobody does. 3 people.
Yeah.
I mean that.
I don't know how I feel about the death penalty.
I don't either. I don't either.
I mean, it's okay, but I also think that sometimes it might. I mean, because after they are injected, they don't have to live with it anymore. You know what I mean? Like, I think they should have to live with it for the rest of their.
Yeah, you know, and I even think that, like the Colorado Supermax prison, and I don't care who you are or what you've been convicted of, but I think the way they treat inmates out there is cruel and unusual punishment. You don't lock a man in a box for 23 hours a day, not let him speak to another human being and have no stimulation of the mind whatsoever, and tell me that's fair. That's not cruel and unusual punishment. And I don't care if it's El Chapo or Ted Kaczynski or whatever. Just, you know, the Constitution, you know, you cannot have cruel and unusual punishment. And to me, that is cruel and unusual punishment.
Yeah. Yeah, I just
We we have a man here who is he's being put to death next month in November,
In
mhm.
Huntsville,
and probably Atmore. And
Huntsville's where they used to do a bunch of them in Alabama.
yeah, but this guy he's being put to death by electrocution because it wasn't until I
like the
think it's the
guillotine.
huh?
Like the guillotine.
No,
Yeah,
electrocution. You said electrocution?
electrocution. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess it was in like if they were convicted before 2002, they could choose
Y'all hear that
lethal
dog
injection.
barking outside my window?
Yeah,
He keeps raising that like.
but I guess before 2002, the juries could choose lethal injection or electrocution.
Electrocution.
And but then
I
that
think,
stopped. That stopped at 2002 and it just went, to lethal injection.
Yeah.
Well, this guy is
which is the easier way out for
mhm.
them.
And this guy is getting the electric chair.
Oh my
And
gosh!
The prop.
it's happening. It's
You're kind of
scheduled for
breaking
next
up.
month.
You're breaking up, Avery.
Oh, okay.
And it's scheduled for next month.
Yeah. The problem I have with the death penalty, JC, is,
Okay. Is
and I'm
that
just going to
any
say this:
better?
if you're poor and you're black and you can't afford a good attorney, you got a damn good chance of getting the worst punishment. You know what I'm saying? And if
That's
you're on the
true.
opposite end of that spectrum, you got a lot better chance of not getting that
Yeah,
cruel of a punishment. And
Yeah.
that's not right.
it's not right at all.
Yeah, it's not right. That's the problem I have with it.
Do I sound better?
Yeah, you do that.
Yes.
Okay. We have rain coming in, so if it gets worse again, I'll just hop down. But
Oh, is it so pretty out? Is
when
it?
I read
Is it a
that,
good rain? Is it a good
well,
rain though?
yeah, I think it's gonna be. I'm gonna look at the weather, but I think I don't think it's storms. I think it's just gonna be a rain, and I think it's bringing in a cold front.
Mm.
But
I
but,
am loving the weather here right now. It's changing. The colors are changing, and it's just the
yeah,
sun is shining, but it's like I like it when the sun shines and it's a little bit windy, but not awful, and the sun isn't like blazing hot.
yeah.
The falls here are amazing, but they're short lived. So
The windiest golf tournament I ever played in, Avery, was in Birmingham, Alabama.
Do I?
The windiest golf tournament I played in all my life was in Birmingham, Alabama. They
oh,
Oh,
almost
I
called
believe
the
it.
playoff. It blowed so hard.
I believe it.
You couldn't even
Birmingham
stand
will.
up to putt. I mean, you just literally moving all over the place.
Yeah, Birmingham will blow you right over.
Yeah, it was like March, early April, and it blowed literally 50
Mm-hmm.
miles an hour at least.
But yeah, I was going to tell you guys when I seen that news article this morning about the guy being put to death here by the electric chair, that actually turned my stomach. I don't I don't really know how I feel about the death penalty either. I mean, sometimes I'm like, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Then other times, I don't know. I kind of go
Too
back and
many
forth.
poor, underrepresented people, their legal representation is just half,
Yeah,
but they got a good chance of getting it. And if you're
I
wealthy and can
think
afford the
our
big lawyers, it's just not fair
yeah,
from that
I
aspect.
think sometimes our instincts are like, yeah, like give him what he deserves, but then our conscience is like,
hmm
back up a minute.
well, yeah.
And life
Well,
without parole is a pretty damn harsh punishment.
the Bible does say, "Thou shalt not kill,"
It does.
but
That is a commandment after all.
Yeah, it says an eye for an eye and tooth for tooth, but it goes, it's
But yeah, I guess basically. Oh, hold on. Lady V wants back up. One moment. Welcome back, lady.
hi, lady, welcome back.
welcome back.
I
Okay, sorry.
I guess I just kind of wanted to talk about this case just to kind of bring. I don't know if you guys know. You guys probably do know, but I know we cover a lot of, true crime and everything, but just to bring awareness to the LGBT true crime as well. It could be a whole nother like umbrella of true crime in itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a hate crime,
It's a hate,
And I heard you
any kind of
mention,
hate crime, racism,
yeah.
uh, orientation, any of that. Uh, the amount of trans women of color that have been murdered in this country
Yeah.
is outrageous. It's hard, and I'll just say this: like, yes, like it's heartbreaking and like everything. I do want to say though that being a part of, and when I say I'm a part of the community, I mean I am like like I have no straight friends. Okay, like I just don't. I mean, I have straight, acquaintances, coworkers, whatever. But as far as like friends go, I would say 99% of my friends here are in the LGBT community. So when I say we, I mean them, but I'm associated with.
Well,
I
I've
will
heard
say
you
that.
say that you do drag, and
Mhm.
Yeah.
so I just assume that I thought, well, she must be transgender.
Nope.
I didn't think that. I just thought it was you just
I do the same
have a
thing.
talent
I'm
for it. You do it
a
for
Yeah, and then
female.
it reminded me of that movie with Lady Gaga and the good-looking man, and he met her. What's it called?
The Star is
Shadow.
Born. The
Yeah,
Star is
Shadow.
Born. A Star is Born. Yeah.
And he met her, and she was doing drag, but she was completely straight.
Mhm. Yeah, there's a few of us cisgender females that do drag.
I'd do
Um,
it.
I'd like to see
it's,
pictures.
I want to
I
see
mean,
Ruby
what I'm
do
saying,
it.
your costumes and what have you.
I will show you guys my drag pictures in Discord. Okay.
Okay.
um, so drag name is JC Penny.
Oh,
It's not that creative. My name is actually JC, but I will. I'll send you guys all my stuff in Discord.
so you get to pick a name, a drag name?
What?
Sure, you can probably, create and be who you want to be.
Ooh,
Yeah,
I want to do it. I could be Vanilla Sugar.
that would actually be really amazing. Like
I mean, it's just
people would really go for that. Like I'm
it's
not
like
gonna
it seems
lie.
to me like it'd be an artistic creation. The way you continue to develop
It
your
absolutely
character
is.
and the personality of that.
Yeah, it's a total art form.
I,
It's it's
funny
a
story.
entertainment art form.
My mom and dad went to Nashville a long, long time ago, like 20 some years ago, with another couple, and they went to the Grand Ole Opry and they went down where all the bars are at, and they went in a bar and they didn't realize, but my dad did. But
But a drag show is going
there
on.
were dragged a lot of people dragging there, and one of the guys I can't remember didn't know it. They said something to him, and he just got all red faced and was embarrassed, But they laughed about that. My dad said, "Y'all don't even know where you're at, do you?" He said, "What are you talking about?" He said, Then he told them, and they were just the one guy was just embarrassed.
They were in a gay club.
Yeah, exactly.
See, I would prefer to go to a gay club, like of all gay men. I'd have fun because then I wouldn't
I
have to worry.
I'm
There's a lot
well,
of
and that's the thing, Avery, is like I think my dad gets, is like, oh my gosh, like you're going out in the big city, like I'm 4'11", okay, like I could get, took up by,
Oh, good
whatever. I said,
grief.
Dad, I'm
Anybody
like,
could kidnap you.
oh yeah, and I'm not exactly a strong woman.
sure you
Um,
are.
I mean, I'm a strong woman mindedly, but not physically. We'll be.
Yeah, I know, but I look at you as from your the person you are.
But my dad, first off, my family is just, different than I am, but that's fine. But I think he's scared that like something is going to happen to me, like assault wise or whatever. And I'm like, Dad, that's not going to happen. Like they are gay. Like, I'm probably in the safest place in Omaha that
Oh,
you
like
can
they're
be.
gonna essay,
Yeah, yeah,
jump on you and jump on your
yeah.
bone, so to speak, or
Like,
whatever. I
Dad,
got you.
that's not going to happen. This is a gay club, honey. Like, they're not attracted to me
Yeah.
like that. Not that that couldn't happen, but I have too many
It sounds
friends
like you
that.
go in numbers when you're out.
Oh yeah.
Is it?
Well,
That's
I
safer.
don't necessarily go in numbers, but when I get there, I am
Yeah,
in numbers.
exactly.
Like nobody's gonna play with me. Nobody.
Yeah.
Like, I'm in Omaha, and I mean, there can be a lot of people around. I'm talking like 50. I'm talking like 50 to 100 people can be around. I can leave my drink. I can leave my wallet. I can leave my keys on my, like at my table or where I'm sitting, go to the bathroom and come back, and nothing's going to be missing. And if anything is, then somebody's going to know about it and somebody's going to say something. Because if there's a certain few people that if they're around, nothing's happening to my stuff.
Yeah. Well, part of this whole thing we're talking about, I go back to what Martin Luther King said. I judge people
I have a dream
by the content of their character, not the color of their skin. And as it goes to, what we're talking about today,
absolutely.
I would hope any gay person or whatever would find a good, solid relationship and live a good, you know what I'm saying, a good, healthy existence.
Yeah,
you know what
absolutely.
I mean. And I would judge them by that. Nothing else.
Yeah, and I used to be like, because I didn't know, I was trained as a kid to like look at people like they're a freak, and if I hadn't opened my thought outside my box and moved here to Omaha, I might still be thinking the same way, but I moved to Omaha for a reason. But if I wouldn't have moved to Omaha and met my group of people, I would be missing out on the most amazing people in my life.
Yeah. And you probably know characters, people that have they're not cookie cutter type people. You know what I mean?
No, not
they
at
have
all.
a lot of. They're all different, I'm sure.
Yep, absolutely. And everyone has a story. I guarantee you that. But what else? Oh, I went to South Dakota with my coworker friend who is a straight female and married for many years to her husband and has a daughter. And her daughter goes to South Dakota, and the University of South Dakota, the football field is a dome. And I've never been to a dome before. And so I wanted to go watch a football game in a dome and meet her daughter and everything.
That'll be cool.
So we go to the football game and everything's cool. We drive up to Spirit Halloween to go shopping. And I told her, I said, I have a secret, or I have something to tell you. And this is a 19-year-old girl.
Yeah.
And I said, I have something to tell you. And, they're a very like quiet family, like whatever. It takes a lot for her to, get out of her shell or whatever. But
yeah,
I just told her, I said, I have a secret for you. And she goes, what's that? And I said, I am a drag queen. And she's like, oh my gosh. And then she started talking to me about it. And she started talking to her mom about it. And her mom came up to me the other day and was like, I had no idea that my daughter was into that kind of stuff. And I said, I didn't say anything, but I was thinking, oh my gosh, like you're going to find out that your daughter's into a lot of stuff that you didn't know about, honey, because she's in college now.
Yeah. I'm the kind of person, I'm like, hey, show me. I want to see, tell me what, give me the inside scoop on,
Yeah.
I'm not a kind of person, oh, they do that, and blah, blah. No, I want to know about it. That don't mean I'll come look at, come start hanging out there. And I would definitely go and check it out. And if I enjoyed it, I'd go back.
Yeah, if you like entertainment in any way, shape, or form, if you can get like if you can, first off, you have to like be accepting of gay people. Yeah. Second off, you have to be accepting of cross dressers. And third off, just be appreciative of the entertainment and not look at it as like everything's a sexual thing.
Yeah,
'Cause
see,
it's
I look
not.
at it as an artistic expression. I mean,
It very much
not
is.
sexual at all. I just, you know, like I was every while ago, I was telling you, you can basically, it's like a blank canvas.
Yep.
You know, you can create and become.
You can
any
be who
kind
you
of
want.
character, personality,
Yep.
dress whatever way. You know what I'm saying?
And that's what drag is, like, you know. But yeah, I wanted to do this case to just kind of highlight the discrimination that the LGBT community faces. You know, this case is still has controversy on, you know, because the person that I talked to about this said that they lived in the, you know, their hometown is in Humboldt, but or Falls City or Humboldt, but said that there are still people to this day that don't think that John did it. And I'm like, what?
That's you'd have to be a moron to think that, in my opinion. But hey, people think anything.
Yeah.
I did read one article today where somebody wrote about the, you know, the historical part of the event, and they put it in a way with all this new terminology about disrespectful of blah, non-binary, about all these terms and stuff. You know what I mean? And trying to frame it all in today's jargon of things that are okay to say and not say. And I thought, you know, that's kind of I don't know. I just thought, no, his experience and what happened to him is his, and maybe it don't just fit into your new what's going on. You know what I'm saying?
Like I say, it reminds me a lot of Matthew Shepard, that happened later on. But same type of thing.
It kind of reminds me of, say, in the 50s when there were a lot of closeted businessmen that, you know, that were gay, but were married, had children, but would slip off when they had business travel or whenever they did, and they had like a double secret life. And you know, a lot of times that ended up in
generation of people had to, because they were so scrutinized by society.
That's right. And because of that, a lot of horrible things happen. And that's not good.
No, not at all.
People shouldn't have to you know, live like that.
And it's all, and I'm, like I was saying before, it's all because of the new generation of, you know, teenagers and young adults that are resilient and you know, take time to understand themselves and are way more aware of mental health and way more self-aware. And
I don't care for the dragging children in here and trying to put them in a box
to live the way they want.
Yeah, but I don't encourage, and I don't like anybody who starts trying to bring a young child and think that push them in any direction. I just think it's wrong.
I was
leave them alone and let them be who they're going to be. Because
I was going to say this earlier too. Like, if I ever had a baby, you know how people are doing like these gender reveals and stuff? It's like scientifically proven by experts, and the experts say that a gender doesn't really matter until you're about 3 or 4 years old. So what I always said was, like, I would probably not have a gender reveal party, have a baby, and obviously, like, on the birth certificate it would say what they were and stuff, but maybe like name them like a
dual,
unisex name,
both,
like a unisex name, and kind of let them decide, because if you don't,
their personality will come out as they grow.
Yeah, exactly. And if you let them decide, they're going to live a much happier life.
That's right. You know, you try to put boundaries and put them in a box, and
like,
gotta live in this,
you're a girl,
these boundaries. You know,
like, you're a girl, you should play with Barbies. Like, that's not the case. You know, you're a boy, you can play with
go outside and play, and have fun, and do whatever that makes you happy and enjoy yourself.
Obviously,
and be nice and
I'm
respect
not going to
others.
encourage
That's the only
anything.
thing.
I'm not going to encourage anything dangerous by any means. If
That's
it's
right.
their safety, that's a different story. But you know,
Main thing, is I want kids, just teach them to be respectful and decent
well,
human beings.
and if a kid does have a question about themselves at a young age, you go to a doctor and you get it. You get a doctor's opinion.
Yeah, and
That's the other thing. So
and
you
some
got to be
questions
safe about
they
it.
have, you're just not going to be able to answer until they get to a point where they can
Right.
take all that information and kind of filter through it, and grow to understand what it is they're dealing with.
Yeah.
But,
And hate crimes exist, and it's an unfortunate situation. However,
there's
for
always
our
people are
community,
always going to hate.
our community is not perfect, but I will say our community is tight. Like
Well,
we are like a family.
and
So
one problem I think that your community has is the gay community. Is the media shows the most angry, loudest,
very
barking,
true.
hate, politically just one way
Very
kind of
true.
person, and that's not representative of
No.
every of all.
No.
You know what I'm saying? I don't think. I know it's not. But
No,
that's
it's
all you
not
see if you
everybody.
see a run on a little short on YouTube or whatever, and that's.
But the media also takes every extreme and exposes it.
Exactly.
Not just the LGBT.
And a lot of those things I see when they're like that, I don't care for people that are screaming and hollering or telling me I have to behave this way or I'm disrespectful. No, I'm not that way. I'm not a disrespectful person. But
Right.
you're not going to command me no more than I'm going to command you to do anything. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And
Yeah.
you get this where they start getting a little that way, and like, hey, wait a second, this is exactly what you've gone against. You know what I mean? You don't want people telling you can't do something or live a certain way. And I'm not going to let you tell me that either. You know what I mean? Let's just get along. But I don't know. That may not sound right, but I just see that when I see anything in the media about it, or more so on social media and YouTube and Twitter and what have you.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
And at the end of the day, I just want people to be happy and live respectful, and have love in their life and have some, a good life. Period.
Yeah,
Being
absolutely.
themselves.
Absolutely.
And whatever that is to you or anybody.
Hey, as long as you're not hurting anybody, I don't think it's
exactly. I agree.
But yeah, I hope people that may watch this will either know about it and understand it, or if they don't, that they will want to go down a path to educate themselves on the situation.
Yeah, I honestly think that people like me, there are a lot of us out here. You know what I mean? That don't know everything,
yeah.
I mean, I think that number is large, is what I think.
But I just hope that, if people are watching this, that they, have an open mind and do want to educate themselves on the situation.
Yeah.
So,
time changes a lot of things, and then sometimes we end up right back where we started.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna get ready to end this. But
I appreciate this a lot, and I've been kind of wanting to pick your brain a little bit on this for a while.
Yes, absolutely. And you can even pick my brain afterwards if you want.
I will, but like I say, the questions I had, and
everyone has
to a lot of the stuff, but I know how I am in my heart.
Everyone has to start somewhere. I mean, I had to start somewhere.
Yeah, and I just want to get along with people in this world.
Yeah.
I don't have time or energy to fight and hate.
Yeah,
it's a waste of your energy and your talents.
Yeah, well, I thank you for chatting with me. really appreciate having someone to chat with. And I hope everybody that watches this can, further their opinions.
And next time, let's when you're going to do a live, let's a couple of days ahead of time. Let's get more aggressive and get the word out and get a few more people in here. So
yeah, absolutely.
I'm happy, that we had to talk, but I like to see the chat getting, have more people in it.
Yeah,
be stimulating for more individuals, not just me.
Yeah, but anyways, yes, Emily, I sure will. I'm actually gonna get ready to go. One of my friends, and I'll just say this too, owns a fragrance business, and it's called Evodia Fragrances.
Yeah.
And he's having his first event tonight where people can go and make their own perfume scent. So
I
I'm
used to have a friend in Florida whose family was in the rendering business, if you know what that is.
The
Where they
what?
get the rendering business, where they get it's going to sound crazy, like the dead animals that are killed in the streets. They had a contract with the whole state, but they take that and that's what they make. The byproducts help make the ingredients for perfumes and, believe it or not, and makeup and a lot of things. But because I was asking, I said, what? They were really well to do, but they literally had a place where they put all these, it sounds awful, in a big thing and grinded them up, whatever, and they got the byproducts. But they made tons of money. I said, who buys this? He said, the biggest makeup companies and fragrance companies in the world.
Yeah, my friend has this Evodia fragrances, and we're gonna go get to make our own scent today. So, but anyway, thank you again.
Make a good one. I wouldn't be good at that because my smelling has since it's not as acute as it used to be.
Mine aren't either. Mine, I don't know what. So my scent might be interesting because I can't really smell, but I do have my favorite smells. So we'll see what comes out.
I'm sure you'll find something that's very alluring.
Yes.
All right, I enjoyed it, everybody.
I will post my pictures in Discord, and you guys have a great day.
Yeah, I do want to see that because like I say, it's a blank canvas. It's art. It's art.
All right, have a good day, guys.
All right, later, everybody.
Bye.